Hello and welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you so much for watching. And for today's PokeMMO interview episode, I'm here in a brand new studio since we are in the Johto region. So I've decided to retire the old studio over in Sinnoh, and now this is the brand new official PokeMMO interview studio here on the Roy Rogers News Channel. I hope you all enjoyed the light graphics, and I tried my best to pick a studio that is optimal for interviewees and for you, the viewers. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our interview, shall we? YoungCabbage, would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hello, well, thank you for having me on.
Certainly, certainly. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the interview, shall we? YoungCabbage, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Alright, without further ado, let's go and dive into our interview right now. So, YoungCabbage, for my very first question here, how long have you played PokeMMO?
So I originally downloaded PokeMMO I think 2021, I believe. I got it to play with a friend or two, but it kind of fizzled out. We never really finished the regions. And then I just barely picked it back up and got super invested just in May this year. So pretty recent, I would say.
Certainly. And what activity do you enjoy in game? Do you like the competitive scene? Do you like shiny hunting? What sort of activity does YoungCabbage enjoy doing besides doing YouTube videos?
Yeah, so for me, I love shiny hunting. I've been an avid shiny hunter in the mainline games like my entire life. On top of that, I love catch events. That's been like one of my favorite ways to spend time in game and something that like I look forward to every single week. And as well as like the events that my team throws, I would say. So just like, player like PvP events as well as shiny hunting is what I would say.
Certainly. And when did you aspire to become such an awesome content creator?
Well, thank you first of all. But my whole life, I've really wanted to be a Pokemon YouTuber. But with the mainline games, it's very oversaturated and it's hard to find a niche. But I remember joking with one of my friends that I was like, "Oh, I can't find a video about apricorns like right as Johto released," and he made a joke and said, "Well, why don't you make one?" And so I did, and it here we are. Like it ended up working out better than I thought, and it was just it's fun to live out that childhood dream.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, I know plenty of people who want to be content creators, so there we go. I mean, personally, I remember watching television and particularly news programs, and I said to myself, someday I would like to present content here on YouTube, and I found my niche over on PokeMMO back in 2014. So I'm glad to be
Nice.
here on PokeMMO doing YouTube, so I can relate with you, YoungCabbage. So
That's super fun.
there we go. So I have two questions now, and these two questions were presented to me by none other than the man himself, Petrowski. So are you ready for two Petrowski questions?
I'm nervous. I'm ready.
All right. So Petrowski question number one. Do you have a favorite stream or video you've made so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say it sounds kind of cheesy, but my first video that I made about apricorns, the reason actually is because it's my worst video, I would say. The content on there is valuable. However, like audio quality I struggled with. Some of the visuals, they didn't match the timing that I wanted. But the reason it's my favorite is because it's like to me, it's the moment I decided to stop like letting excuses keep me from creating content. And it's imperfect in a beautiful way in my opinion because it's the moment I decided to just kind of go for it.
All right. And then the last question from Petrowski. What was your most memorable content creation moment?
Ooh. Um I mean, probably the first time it felt super weird, but the first time I got noticed in PokeMMO was kind of a wholesome moment. I was going and filming a video for my shiny hunter side hustle video about chatop farming, and I bumped into a random player who whispered me and just said, "Hey, like I love watching your YouTube," and asked me for an OT, yeah, like a YoungCabbage OT Pokemon. So I traded him my I think it was a 3x31 electrode for a very bad Shellos. But it was a super fun moment to just kind of recognize that even if it's just in a small way, like I'm reaching out to a community of people that are receptive to it. So it's super fun.
Certainly, all I can really say to that is expect more of that in the near future because you have such great content, and a lot of people are probably going to see your Young Cabbage videos to the point where people say to themselves, I want Young Cabbage with me on my adventure. So you're probably going to get more questions like that.
I look forward to it. I welcome it.
Certainly. Alrighty, and speaking about shinies, I have a question for you. What was your
Yeah.
most memorable shiny, Young Cabbage?
So out of all of my shiny Pokemon, I would probably say my Torkoal. I actually have it with me. Let's see if I can bring him out. Yeah, so my Torkoal, the reason it's special to me was because whenever I started playing this game seriously again, all the people I started with, they all got shinies pretty quickly. It was this fun thing that they'd go around flexing them. And this Torkoal was my first one, and it actually took me 107,000 encounters. So it was a bit rough. I was actually shiny hunting coughing that entire time in the Pokemon Mansion since Johto wasn't out, but decided to switch spots and I went to Torkoal and boom, he just popped up. So
Wow. Yeah, and the good news is that now in Burnt Tower, you don't have to worry about self-destruct risk anymore with coughing.
yeah,
So,
thank goodness, right?
oh yeah, I agree with that. Actually, when I was doing the Johto walkthrough series, I said to myself, like, I see a horde of coughing. I think people would probably like to know that.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, speaking about memorable moments, what was your most memorable moment in game?
um so the same friend that got me back into PokeMMO, I'd say the most memorable moment was probably with him because I was looking again for coughing for around 107,000 encounter or 107K encounters, and I was getting super frustrated and my friend decided to come and support me in the Pokemon Mansion. So we were streaming our games over Discord and he managed to get the shiny coughing in about 10 to 15 minutes. So it was a frustrating one, but it was very funny. It was like a very bittersweet moment, but I'd say that was probably my most memorable.
Yeah, no problem. At least coughing is easier to obtain now, so that's the good news.
Oh yeah.
I do have a more centralized question towards you now. How did you find PokeMMO?
So I've always been a huge fan of, like I said, the mainline Pokemon games. And as a kid, I would like draw my own Pokemon. I would come up with concepts and regions and types and stuff. And so I've always loved like fan made projects, whether it's art or games. And so just throughout my process of like looking for fun fan projects, I kind of just stumbled upon it and downloaded it and it seemed fun and I'm obsessed with it now. So that's kind of how I stumbled across it.
That's great. That's great. And do you have any advice for people that want to contribute here on PokeMMO?
Yeah. So my advice, I feel like it's kind of basic advice, but I would just say just do it. Like just go for it. If you're considering like making content or if you've wanted to put something out there for the community, like just do it. Just follow your creative ideas. The worst thing that's going to happen is, people don't like it or it doesn't do as well as you expected, but the fact that you did it will give you that confidence to continue to share and be creative, especially in PokeMMO. I was gonna say one thing is there's so many warm and amazing people in the community that this is a very safe place for people to start making content or, releasing their fan art or whatever it is, right? Like I'm sure you can agree, it's a very warm and welcoming community for people who just want to be creative.
I agree with that sentiment, although of note, I'm terrible at digital art. So I don't really want to worry about, but hey, I see plenty of people who make beautiful art pieces. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna let the pros do that. But thank you so much to
Yeah.
those who do the fan art though, that are quite talented.
Oh, for sure.
Shout out to Rach, by the way. Rach makes some really excellent artwork.
Oh, I'll have to look into that. That sounds cool.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, PokeMMO just needs more content. Needs more content creators, streamers, more people chatting in the forums. So blow it up, release your content. It'd be fun to see.
Certainly. And do you have any closing thoughts before we sign off?
Not necessarily. I'm grateful that you had me on. It's been such a cool experience to like meet all of these cool heroes that I had for like I used to watch, your videos, Rumel, Petrowski, like all of these guys, and now to be able to message and see the cool human side of you guys has been super fun. So I appreciate your time.
Certainly. Yeah, and that's kind of been my goal as the mayor of PokeMMO is trying to unite the content creators, and as a result of YoungCabbage being a YouTube member, I appointed Petrowski as vice chair to avoid a conflict of interest with YoungCabbage. There you go, a little bit of some ethical reasons for my side of things. But my goal is to try to unite all the content creators and try to create sort of like a family aspect to the YouTube Alliance. So, YoungCabbage, thank you so much for being a part of the YouTube Alliance family.
No problem. You're doing a great job doing that. So thanks for the invite.
Certainly. And you are making some excellent content. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much, YoungCabbage, for being a part of the Roy Rogers News Channel's PokeMMO interview series.
Anytime.
And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to the channel, like the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel signing off. Fast, accurate, unbiased Roy Rogers News. Oh, and Kaya wanted to correct the record and say that Entei is a cat, by the way.
It's okay. Kaio can be wrong.
Oh, man. Alright, looking forward to seeing Kaio in the comment section.